This marks the 12th part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's begin our recap video for today's manhwa. Raul was surprised by his remarks and began staring at him. Dalton inquired what happened. Why is he staring at him? Raul thinks holy shit. His admission to the academy may have seemed like an excuse for him to get out of the house. Actually, he had another goal. That was to find skill books in the library and hidden prospects in the academy. Though the list of new students changed due to Gray's sudden appearance, candidates for recruitment had already been selected based on information he found on the Link Cafe. Brat Dalton was one of them. Realistically speaking, the strongest person in this kingdom is Swordmaster Marquis D. Dalton. World of Connect, where almost no contact could be made with high-ranking noble NPCs, an amazing chance to get his grandson Dalton. Currently, not just anyone is allowed to enter the gate. You must obtain official permission or have at least 50 troops and 3 official knights. It would be impossible for Dalton to enter the gate alone. Even if Dalton is at the level of an expert, he has never confirmed his skills himself. He must be desperate for a chance to get real battle experience like a gate. Subjugation. Thinking about all these things, a smile appears on his face. He inquired, do he want to do it together? It's an F-rank gate, there won't be any danger. Dalton laughed and questioned, really? Stated, but he has a few conditions. Dalton asked about his conditions. Raul stated first he is the only one he will be bringing into the gate. Take any servants or guards along. Replied it doesn't matter to him. Contrary, it's nicer to have a less number of annoying people joining. Raul continued by saying second, keeps the fact that he is going into the gate with him a secret, because he doesn't want anyone talking behind his back. Dalton replied that is acceptable as well. He hate getting involved in family matters too. Raul thinks, is this brat not worried? What would he have done if he had bad intentions? Then again, who in this kingdom would dare to turn a big noble family like the Templeton Duchy into their enemy? Stated lastly, he must get permission from the Duke. Dalton, surprised by his remark, asked why does he need to get that? Raul replied, isn't that obvious? What if something happens to him? They need someone to take care of the situation if something were to happen. He is not taking him there to have fun, he is taking him there on an official visit. He have a night troop to take care of. He can't be bothered with his personal affairs. Dalton nervously replied that's true, but his talk was interrupted as Raul walked away, commenting, let's talk again once he obtained permission from the Duke by then. Flustered Dalton said, hey wait, and thought, how is he going to convince the old man? Seeing Raul's pale face, Bernard inquired, did anything happen at the academy? Raul replied, well, all the attention is a bit tiring, but it's fine. He started doing this hoping for this to happen anyway. Bernard questioned, then shall they maintain the public opinion to the current level? But Raul asked the report about how many people have been deployed so far. Bernard reported in the past 2 days 100 soldiers have been deployed as decoys, and an additional 10 wandering mercenaries have been hired as well. There are around 20 active spies in the main branch who have completed their basic training. Raul considers the importance of the war of public opinion amidst the fierce political battle between the nobles. It is crucial work that must be done to solidify their position. The decision to seek out the voice of Reuben has proven to be a wise one. By providing information about the gates without any conditions, a friendly reputation has spread throughout the kingdom. Those who question how a single media outlet can wield such influence do not understand the significant role that the media plays. In Connect. The media in Connect is an elite organization primarily composed of magicians, with Jenna's White, one of the continent's 3 great sages, serving as the president of the Press Association. Status is esteemed even among the highest ranks of society, and the most influential media outlet among them is the voice of Reuben. They do not need to engage in wars with swords alone, they must utilize all available resources. Raul instructed double the number of wandering mercenaries with a good sense of humor to be on standby. Expected that individuals from various regions will come to keep them in check. Then Philip inquired what he meant by that. Bernard explained that greedy noblemen are likely to attempt to gain a foothold now that the gate situation has somewhat stabilized. Raul expressed that while he would welcome them for a simple gate subjugation, it is not feasible at the moment. Bernard suggested that they may try to find faults and tarnish Raul's reputation in order to claim a larger share of the rewards. Raul responded by stating that they can only strive for the rewards because only the chosen ones can close a gate. He emphasized the need to keep this information confidential for the time being to prevent other lords from pretending ignorance about the gates. Philip responded with the statement that he understood. Raul continued with his thoughts. Even if he had to use the lord's greed, he must get the soldiers to gather in the kingdom. That was the only way for them to deal with the crisis that was about to befall the kingdom. At night, a person with brownish hair and running from something in the back alley, while thinking, damn it, who would have thought that they did continue being hunted despite entering a gate? Just what is their deal? For now he must lure as many of these bastards and buy time for his comrades to get away. His thoughts came to a halt when he was surprised to see people with robes blocking his way forward. One of the people with a mask stated guild leader of the information organization Wings of Freedom, alias Faceless. It's nice to meet you this way. Alias stated, so these bastards are the ones who have been hunting down underworld guilds for half a year. The masked person replied by saying, as expected from the head of the best information organization of the kingdom, he is quick-witted. Alias inquired, so what brings him here? Is he trying to hunt him down this time? The masked person responded that he was planning to do that at first, but he would make him an offer. Alias inquired about the offer. The masked person stated surrender. It'd be a waste to kill someone as powerful as he in the underworld. If he promised to join them, that is, they will spare his life. What does he say? Alias unsheathed his sword and rushed towards him to attack while asking, stop saying nonsense. But his attack was blocked by the masked person with his power armor. As he looked at the armor, he immediately identified it, and then Alias stated, you bastards. He was on the fence about it, but they really were bastards from the Empire? The masked individual declared, what a refreshing deduction, or should he call it a dangerous suspicion? Now that it has come to this, he leave him no choice. He commanded his companions in blue robes to eliminate him. They all swiftly moved towards their target, his faces turning pale as he see their attacks. However, the target known as Alias vanished before their eyes. Confusion spread among the group as one questioned, is it stealth magic? Another responded, no, he used an artifact. Couldn't have gotten far. Search the surroundings. Meanwhile, Alias, who had teleported to the rooftop of a nearby house, pondered to think the mysterious organization that has been hunting guilds were bastards from the Empire. What the hell is going on in this kingdom? At the Ashton County Mansion, a guard captain named Bill informed Raul that the first night's rank F gate permit had been cancelled. Jake shouted in anger, questioning the decision, but Philip quickly silenced him. Raul calmly responded, acknowledging the news and inquiring about the status of the rank E and rank E gates. The guard captain assured him that those gates were still permitted for entry. Raul expressed relief at the news and asked who would be taking care of the rank F gates moving forward. The guard captain admitted he was unsure but mentioned that multiple families were expected to participate. Raul nodded in understanding, noting that rank F was less dangerous and could potentially be profitable. He made it clear that his team would be ready to handle any issues that arose. Pressed by Raul's sense of duty, the guard captain remarked on his righteousness, expressed a wish that other nobles were like him. Raul reiterated the importance of protecting the city and its citizens, emphasizing the need for cooperation. Meanwhile, the guard captain whispered to Raul about a rumor linking Randall to the cancelled permit. He speculated that the Ministry of Finance may have been involved, noting the close ties between the department and the Randall family. After some contemplation, Raul thanked him for the information, showing his appreciation for the warning. As the guard captain departs, Raul inquired, did everyone hear the news? Anticipating this, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. Jake replied, but isn't this excessive? To the revocation of their permit? Raul stated, it's a direct order from the royal palace, so they must comply. There is no need to be despondent about it. I haven't lost anything. Jake inquired, how so? Raul explained, rank F gates can be cleared with regular troops. Utilizing mercenaries they hired with their funds is inefficient. The rewards they provide are subpar. It would be more beneficial to focus on gates of rank E and higher. Jake agreed, saying he is correct. Philip asked what should they do with their men once they are withdrawn from the rank F gates. Raul replied, assign them to gates outside the wall for training. Let's utilize this opportunity to clear some remaining gates outside. Those who are indifferent to the rewards won't last long anyway. May prove advantageous in the future. Managing the gates is a challenging task. What they require most at present is merit, renown, and personal growth. Let's disregard external affairs and concentrate on themselves. Please emphasize commanding the mercenaries and their personal development. All of them responded by saying understood. Raul contemplated a week from now the official knight investiture ceremony, which occurs annually, will take place. It is the prime opportunity for their knights to shine. They must strive diligently until the ceremony to garner attention and ensure their reputation reaches beyond the kingdom. The scene shifted to a gate where a guard inquired if he was sure they were coming. Guard Captain Bill replied that he didn't know, so the guard shouldn't ask him. Guard asked what they would do if something bad happened there. Captain Bill replied asking what he meant by that, and stated that they would have to take care of it, as they were both worthless unless they obeyed the nobles. The knight told them to back off. At that moment Austin D. Carrington, the fourth son of the Viscount Carrington, arrived at the gate with his knights. His knights shouted that the son of Carrington was there and ordered everyone to move out of the way. Captain Bill stepped forward and said it was an honor to meet him, introducing himself as Bill, the person currently in charge of controlling the gate. Austin D. Carrington asked if that was the gate, and Captain Bill confirmed that it was. Austin D. Carrington then ordered his men to get moving. Captain Bill asked if he was saying that he would be going in right away, but Austin D. Carrington didn't answer and told his knights to follow him inside. Captain Bill asked about their horses, and Austin D. Carrington became angry and kicked him, causing him to fall to the ground. Austin D. Carrington then told Captain Bill to know his place and not to ask him to get off his horse. Captain Bill tried to explain, but Austin D. Carrington told him to shut up and called him a peasant before ordering his knights to go inside. Guard approached him and asked if he was okay. Captain Bill declared forget it. He clearly warned him. It's not his fault if their horses go crazy inside the gate. He thinks to himself that he knew horses were not allowed inside due to the high mana density. Even if he was lucky enough to survive, he would suffer greatly. He anticipated that they would be busy moving bodies that night. They emerged on the other side of the gate. Austin D. Carrington questioned, "Is this what's inside a gate?" "He doesn't see anything," his knight explained. That there were only orcs or goblins present, so there was no need to be nervous. Austin D. Carrington thought to himself, he thinks he would find some treasures. If only Raul Ashton, that fraud, hadn't shown off. He became a star in the capital for killing a monster using his wealth. He will clear every gate left open to bring him down. He ordered his knights to clear the gate, instructing them to eliminate every monster. He divided them into units and commanded them to eliminate the creatures. Mako Praetorian Guard expressed, "Sir, dividing the troops inside a gate is very dangerous. Let's keep their men together and use scouts to look around." In response, Austin D. Carrington questioned his fear and doubted their ability to clear all the gates in such a manner. Suddenly Marco heard a sound from behind and turned to see incoming monsters, causing him to tremble. He shouted young master to get behind him. Austin D. Carrington, noticing the monsters, also started trembling in fear. Meanwhile, Marco ordered the knights to stay calm, hold their positions and prepare for combat. Night Guard Captain Bill came to Raul's office and reported about the missing people. Raul asked what he was talking about, specifically mentioning the people who had entered the rank F gate. Captain Bill confirmed that yes, he was referring to those individuals, explaining that every team that had entered the gate had gone missing. Concerned, Raul asked how many teams had entered the gate in the past 2 days, to which Captain Bill replied that 10 teams had disappeared, all of whom met the requirements to clear the gate. Raul pondered the possibility of the gate transforming, phenomenon typically seen in higher-ranked gates. Wondered if there was something else inside the gate that was causing the teams to vanish. Before he could delve further into his thoughts, Bernard approached him and called his name. Raul instructed Bernard to gather the high-rank knights, including Homer. Bernard questioned whether the training instructors should also be included and asked what was happening. Raul simply stated that they were heading to the gate for a rescue mission. A little while later, as they arrived at the gate, a frog monster rushed to attack Dalton, but he swiftly dealt and expressed frustration at the situation. He commented on the gate's boring and nasty nature, to which Raul reminded him that they couldn't predict the terrain inside a gate, and that they were not there to play around. Philip approached Raul and informed him that the scouts had returned. Raul inquired about their findings, learning that monster sightings had decreased as expected. Raul exclaimed, "Right, they are well prepared," and he believed he already possessed information about the gate. The window popped up displaying information on the rank F dimension gate, with a maximum capacity of 300 and no concurrent access limit. The current occupancy was 132 out of 300, with a current stack of 0 out of 2, and the gate type was elimination. Raul continued his thoughts, suspecting that no one else should have entered besides the conquest teams, but the data indicated otherwise. He realized it was a trap, but he was confident that they were not expecting to be the ones trapped instead. After a brief moment, Raul questioned that here should be good. He believed it was a suitable spot and asked Homer for his opinion. Homer replied, "Yes, master. They can look down toward the flat area, facing the swamp." He also believed this is a good location. Raul stated, "Then let's start working. This place will be the base. Set everyone in their trained positions." Homer acknowledged his command. Upon hearing their conversation, Dalton asked, "What is he trying to do on this hill?" Raul responded, "They are going to build a fort." Confused, Dalton questioned, "A fort out of nowhere?" Raul advised him to keep his eyes open and learn from the process. Raul activated the magic formation and instructed Homer to begin. Homer then directed everyone to activate the artifact. The magic formation appeared in the sky, accompanied by strong winds and a multitude of stone bricks emerging from it. Dalton, puzzled by the events, and closed his eyes due to dust, as the stone walls formed in front of him. As he opened his eyes, he was astonished to see a fort standing before him. Meanwhile, Raul declared that the structure was made in a rush but would serve its purpose. He believed it was better than sleeping under a tent. The fort was 3 meters tall and 20 meters wide, providing enough space for at least 100 people. It was the ideal base to wait for enemies. Dalton inquired if Raul was planning a siege and if the gate was dangerous enough to warrant building a fort. Raul explained that gates were indeed dangerous places, but only this one required a fort. He had used a similar simple fortress method before and believed it was worth it, despite needing many artifacts to reduce the brick's weight and size. Raul had trained guild members to use artifacts for this moment, although he had not expected to use it so soon. Dalton expressed his curiosity but limited himself to one question, asking why Raul needed the fort when they were supposed to be rescuing missing people. Raul responded by stating that they needed the fort precisely for that reason. Dalton pointed out that forts were typically for defending against enemy attacks and questioned why Raul needed it for a rescue mission. Raul simply replied that he would see. Raul pondered that their opponents likely believed they were fully prepared for the mission, but he doubted they were anticipating any chance of failure. He concluded by stating, "Let's see whose preparation is more thorough." Meanwhile, Jack, the commander of the Imperial Hound from Reuben Kingdom District Team No. 8, sat comfortably on a chair while enjoying his meal. One of the members of the Imperial Hound reported that they had successfully held their hostages as he had requested. Jack inquired if the rescue team had arrived yet. The person replied affirmatively, stating that they had found a rescue team similar in size to the one they had captured, and that the scout team was closely monitoring them. Jack expressed his hope that they would be able to entertain him this time, as he had found the nobles of the kingdom to be weak and lacking in excitement. He decided that they would have to follow the captain's orders and go out for a hunt. At that moment, the person nervously shouted for Jack, reporting an urgent update. The scout who had been watching the rescue team had revealed that they were currently in a fortress doing nothing. Jack was surprised by this news and questioned the person about the fortress. Meanwhile, at the fortress, Dalton yawned and expressed his boredom, questioning whether they were certain that they were coming for them. Raul reassured Dalton not to get comfortable, as they would be arriving soon. Dalton asked Raul to at least inform him of who was coming for them, to which Raul suggested that Dalton ask them himself. Nervously, Dalton looked towards the approaching group of people led by Jack and asked Raul if they were the ones they had been waiting for. Raul confirmed that they were indeed the ones. In anger, Jack inquired, "What is that fortress? How did they build that?" Scout replied that he was not sure. Raul stated that they probably thought they had trapped them perfectly, and must be confused to realize they were the ones trapped. Philip ordered everyone to be ready and aim their arrows. Raul thought that they didn't expect a siege on the gate, and must not be prepared for it, causing frustration. He considered teasing Jack, who seemed short-tempered. He shouted, "Hey, Empire's dogs! Why are you walking around without a leash? Is he lost by any chance?" Jack chuckled and called the young man arrogant, wondering if he was from Ashton. He admired his guts and vowed to personally kill him and take the fortress. He ordered his subordinates to charge. Raul believed that they had fallen for their plan. Confused, Dalton stated that he still didn't understand what was going on but was sure they were from the Empire. Raul ordered the members of his guild to fire their arrows. The Imperial Hound did not back down and rushed to attack, proclaiming for the Emperor's glory. As 2 Imperial Hounds approached the fortress wall, Dalton swiftly dispatched them, calling them dirty Empire dogs. Jack observed and laughed, calling Dalton another arrogant youngster. He decided it was time to show some respect and signaled his subordinate to blow the whistle. 2 dark red monsters appeared, surprising Raul. Jack remarked, "Let us observe how much longer he can continue to open his mouth." Dalton inquired, "What are those creatures?" Raul responded, "They are the Empire's mana soldiers." He noted they appear to have been enhanced since the last time he encountered, which is likely their peak performance. Therefore his strategy is flawless. As the Empire's mana soldiers began to move towards the fortress, the members of Raul's first guild became panicked. Philip instructed them to stay focused and reassured them that they could win this. As they saw the mana soldiers roaring and rushing towards them, Dalton inquired about the monstrous creatures the Empire had created. Philip ordered everyone to not let the soldiers get close to the fortress and to fire their arrows, but the arrows were deflected. Dalton commented on the soldiers' ability to deflect the arrows, and Raul confirmed that ordinary weapons would not harm them. Dalton asked Raul what he planned to do about the soldiers, to which Raul replied that he had a plan but needed some assistance. He asked Dalton if he was up for it, to which Dalton agreed. Raul then stated that they would proceed with the plan. Meanwhile, a mana soldier reached the fortress wall and punched it with great force, causing cracks to form. The guild members became frightened, but Philip urged them to stand their ground and ordered the spearmen to move forward. Jack laughed and exclaimed at the guild members' belief that they would be safe within the fortress. He vowed to show them the consequences of fighting against the Empire and to destroy the fortress. However, Jack was shocked when he saw Raul and Dalton jump down from the fortress wall to attack the mana soldier. Dalton expressed shock at the ineffectiveness of his sword against the soldier, and Raul acknowledged that the situation would not be easy. Jack mocked them for leaving the fortress undefended, praising their foolishness. Dalton turned to Raul and asked, "His words getting more annoying than those monsters? Is he just going to listen to him talk trash?" Raul replied, "Definitely not," as he enveloped his sword with mana and stated, "Let's shut him up." Dalton smiled and also enveloped his sword with mana, exclaiming, "He said he could do whatever he wants, right? That's all he needs." As mana soldiers rushed towards them to attack, both of them used their mana swords to dispatch the monsters immediately. They then rushed towards the remaining 2 mana soldiers, defeating them in an instant. This shocked Jack and ground his teeth in anger, while guild members became happy and started cheering for them. Dalton thought, "Damn it, that was close." Raul inquired, "He is quiet now. Was this all he had?" They were saying for the Emperor or some bullshit. He guessed their loyalty depends on whether or not they have those mana soldiers. Jack laughed and exclaimed, "This is getting interesting. He will be able to have some fun. He will have to send his regards to his family since he have to face him." Dalton warned Raul he's a commander of the Empire, which means he's stronger than those monsters. Does he need help? Raul stated no, he can take care of him by himself, and he think he have his own opponent, while pointing towards an incoming mana soldier carrying a shield and a flail as a weapon. Raul exclaimed, "He's smaller but he's armed well. Can he do it?" Dalton replied, "Who does he think he is? Did he forget his family name? Don't worry about him and make sure to teach that guy a lesson." Raul thought he's Templeton's grandson after all. This is his first real combat experience, but he seems trustworthy. Raul moved towards Jack and stated, "His back's covered now. Shall they end this? He is sorry for making you wait. Bring it on." Jack exclaimed, "Ashton family's young master, what is his name?" He replied by stating his name is Raul. Jack mentioned that his family is well known throughout the Empire and he had heard that they use great swords, but he guessed that wasn't the case. Raul thought to himself that Jack talked too much and looked like a gorilla, but he couldn't underestimate him. Despite Raul's stats and level matching that of a typical advanced sword expert, Jack was still the strongest enemy he had faced so far. Jack's status window popped up, revealing information about him being 44 years old, level 81, a knight, advanced sword expert, affiliated with the Cronin Empire, Imperial Hound, and commander of District Team No. 8. His stats included potential talent, grade A, unique traits of narcissism, grade C+, bloodbath, grade A-, and quick-witted, grade B. Jack commented on finding two noble families' young masters, calling it a jackpot and expressing excitement to see what they had to offer. Raul thought about his stable stats with power armor, and knew he couldn't let his guard down. He had upgraded his stats with steady level ups and spent money on his gear, making him confident in his abilities. Jack mentioned Raul's skill with the mana blade, noting that he seemed good at it, and wasn't just a crybaby young master. Raul prepared himself in a fight stance, and used the mana blade to defend against Jack's attack. Meanwhile, Dalton struggled against the attack from the mana soldier, and realized that the soldier was kind of strong. Dalton rushed forward to attack with the mana blade, but the soldier blocked it with his shield, surprising Dalton. The soldier then swung a flail weapon to attack, which Dalton dodged by leaping into the air. Dalton acknowledged the soldier's intelligence, and knew the battle wouldn't be easy. However, if he were to run away instead of facing the Empire, the old man would not leave him alone. Is he doing fine? His fight seems more challenging than mine. Raul and Jack's swords clashed with each other, and Jack commented, "Not bad at all. You're quite good at imitating, aren't you?" "But that's it," Raul thought. "He's fast and strong. The moment he shows a gap, he is done for." Jack laughed. "Yes, this is way better than he had expected. He can feel it. It's almost a shame to kill him. Your kingdom folk are the best when you can't do anything but resist. Resist hard, little kid." Raul thought, "He's still talking. It feels like he is getting mentally damaged." But that's not even the main problem. The longer and harsher the fight gets, the harder Regnitor keeps shaking. If he releases Regnitor, he can probably defeat him in a split second. But his allies might get hurt since he can't fully control it. He has to buy time and keep them here until the plan is completely executed. At that moment a message from Bernard popped up, saying, "Master, does he copy? The situation has been wrapped up. They have successfully reached them and defeated the enemy. The plan was a success." Hearing that, Raul smiled and said, "Nice." Jack commented, "He is smiling? Does he give up? What happened to his rescue plan? He only see him and his guys hiding behind that fort." But his words were interrupted as Raul released more of his power, making him surprised. Raul replied, "Rescue plan? Hiding behind the fort?" The rescue plan was ongoing the whole time. Since the rescue plan has succeeded, shall we fight for real now? Try again, Empire's idiot. The scene then transitioned to a moment just before when Marco was gasping for breath. The member of Imperial Hound stated that he heard the kingdom's nobles were cowards except for a few families, and he guessed it was true. He was shaking like a rat despite being surrounded by his knights, which he found to be quite a view. Marco suggested that the young master please calm down and stay focused. In moments like this, Austin D. Carrington thought to himself that he didn't know the Empire was a part of this, and that they had fallen into their trap, realizing they may not survive. The person exclaimed that they wouldn't kill them if they didn't resist, yet they still chose to. He ordered to capture the noble and kill the rest. Following the order, his subordinates rushed to attack Austin D. Carrington's knights, but they were surprised when they were hit by arrows. As they turned around to see who had shot the arrows, they found the members of the First Knight Guild rushing towards them. Jake exclaimed, "How dare they step into their kingdom," referring to them as the Empire's dogs. Pierce, Bernard and Josh took care of the Imperial Hound members while Jake eliminated the mana soldier. The masked person observed that they easily took down the mana soldier without even using a mana blade. His thoughts were interrupted as Jake approached him and stated that he had overheated and didn't mean to kill all of them, suggesting that one was enough for them to extract information from. Marco identified Jake as a member of the Bear Knights and guessed that the First Knights had come to save them. Austin D. Carrington questioned if they were members of the First Knights. Josh exclaimed about Austin D. Carrington's weak knees and inability to stand his ground in a situation like this, finding it pathetic, and added that not every young master was like theirs, and Pierce suggested comparing it to something worth comparing. Austin D. Carrington thought only with a few soldiers. They took down these monsters and the Empire's elites armed with power armor. Are these Raul Ashton's First Knights? Then Bernard reported to Raul asking if he copied. The situation had been wrapped up. They had successfully rescued them and defeated the enemy. The plan was a success. At the present, Jack inquired what did he say. Raul replied that the hostages had been rescued already. It was easy since he brought all his men there. He caught the hostages but then focused on attacking the fortress. Did he forget what he was there for? He really thought he had it all perfectly planned out, didn't he? The truth is he is the one that fell into the trap. Jack laughed, and struck his sword in the ground, stating he sees. Planning things out isn't his style anyway. What's so fun about hiding and planning? They're traps? He should just stick to his style. What does he think, kiddo? He has nothing to care about now. Let's do this for real now. Raul thinks there it is. Shadow Clipper. He saw it a few times as Crash, the great sword skill that the Imperial Knights use. It was a bizarre sword technique with an ominous blade unpredictably slashing in irregular patterns. He had been waiting for him to use that. Jack commented, "Let's begin." Launched mana slashes towards Raul, causing him to push backwards by the impact as he blocked them. Jack questioned, he is busy blocking. Where did all his ego go? Meanwhile, Raul looked towards him with focused eyes, and the system showing information 40% complete, 50%, now 70%, and 100% completed. Another window popped up showing information copycat activation complete. Then Raul stated, "Let's try this out," and used Shadow Clipper to attack him. Seeing that, he became confused and blocked the Raul attack. And he asked, "What is this?" Raul stated, "This seems useful. He will use it well." This marks the conclusion of the 12th part of this manhwa. The 13th part will be uploaded after there were at least 3 to 4 chapters of this manhwa released, so remember to like and subscribe to the channel for future update. Leave comments to share your experience. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.